And good evening and welcome to yet another segment and hopefully informative video regarding some of your training and things you should be looking at in this interim before we hopefully get back to the mats, which, boy, I hope is soon, because again, it is very difficult to not be interactive in something that is very interactive. I'm going to try and make it a little bit short and sweet, as a lot of times I get rolling, and I know, as many of you know, that I can talk. So, what I would like to look at tonight, last night we looked at breaking posture, or I should say last week, excuse me. Tonight we're going to look at breaking guard, and then quickly look at omoplata off of our armbar and leg triangle. So, again, without much ado, I would like to introduce or welcome my partner in crime, who has been good enough to let me subject him to many of these things. Anyway, I'm going to get right to it. So, on your back, in guard, if you recall. So, you're going to wrap the legs around me, above, boom, in guard. So, this is a person who has now put me in closed guard. Trying to lock up, and they're trying to control me, and then break my posture, which we looked at breaking the posture last week. I, on the other hand, would like to get out of this. I would like to break the guard. Okay? Now, I've told many of you I do not have a good closed guard. Do not have long legs. This is the case. Boom. Yes, I know. We may have a random cat stroll into the video as well. By this time, I'm sure you guys are probably more amused watching that than some of the instruction. Anyway, at this point in time, with my opponent, I want to control them and control their motion. The best way to do that is control the hips. It's like controlling the core, that whole basis of motion. No matter what I do, if he can keep controlling the space, he can keep containing me. So, one of the things people talk about, of course, is, a power or pressure pass. Again, controlling those hips, okay? And I do come up. Now, the thing about coming up, you have to watch this. If you're not careful and your opponent is waiting for this, they will underhook you here and sweep. So you do need to make sure your base is solid. Solid. Usually when you do this, you open up a space. Here, again, still retaining some hip control, elbows dug into this leg. I want to keep this leg trapped, pinned. I don't want him to have freedom of motion. So I want to keep this leg, excuse me while I put it down so I can see. I'm still controlled into the hip, elbow dug straight in, and I'm pinning this. Boom. Okay? If I can even pressure it down, wing it open to pressure. Keep that leg contained. I don't want him to get freedom of motion and possibly sweep me. Again, I keep it closed. I don't want a space. I don't want him to come in through. Here. Now I don't bring the leg up. Okay? I go forward with it. Okay? I go forward. I'm being a little nice to him. I don't want to put too much pressure. He's nice to help me. No point burying him. So I've gone under this leg, up to the shoulder. I go forward at the same time. If I leave the leg down here, it's stronger. Yeah, exactly. He's actually hooking. He's getting the idea. The more I bring it up, the less strength he has. Okay? Now I'm just doing that with my arm, but what you will do is carry here. This is your guide for direction. Okay? With a gi, I would grab a little collar, grab up to the shoulder, but I don't have that now. So I don't like to just grab because my arm's free. I'll hook on the wrist and push forward. Now as I push forward, once I get him uncomfortable, I still have the far leg trapped. I turn. All he has to do is pass my head. We'll do it in the other view. The leg drops, I reestablish. I'm going to turn the other way completely. So again, I'm here, I control, again, this side, I don't want this leg to have freedom of motion. So I'll clamp it. I want to pin it right to my leg. Bam. It can be painful. You can dig in, create some pressure. Or get the elbow inside and I just check it so it can't move. Okay? Again, go into the back, legs up. It's tight. I have it tight here, buried. I'm controlling this side. Okay? I'll hook for direction. I'm up. I'll press forward. Now, look, when you press, you'll try and put this knee into his chin. I'm not going to do that in this case because he won't help me out again next week. Press. Okay? So I'm here. I've got it pressed. Press. I start to turn. Again, once this is past here, I just pop my head. And the leg's going to pop out. He wants to pop out because it hurts. We establish. Control. Okay? Pressure, power pass, whatever name you wish to call it. Oh, stay there, my friend. We're not done. Okay? Good pass, but again, it's the little details. If someone looks for it, they feel you control the hips, they know you're going to try and pass. You don't check this leg or contain it or have a grip on it. At some point, he may slide it down, try to interrupt your base, and sweep you, okay? At the same point in time, I go back to hook. I gotta be careful. I'm reaching back like this. This isn't a move where you just hang out here. If I hang out here, this leg comes up. He's gonna try and break my posture to leg triangle. That's why I capture. And I keep this contained. They can never join. Oh yeah. Okay. Just cause pain. I mean, here, someone straightened out, you see, oh yeah, he's just feeling the pressure on the knee. It's just slam, break. Okay. Obviously, not attempting that. So power pass, pressure pass. Now, a lot of people, for me, I find have long legs. It's very hard for me to break them. Okay? Power pass, pressure pass, that does work, but I don't always like to use it. Sometimes my mobility is not what it used to be. Okay? Very simple for me. Again, controlling the hips is paramount. Keeping them, and I'm trying not to use too much pressure, but I'll bury it right to the floor. Hands, the blades, right below the hip bones, elbows dug in, no spaces, not doing this. I'm in. You don't want him to come up and underhook and break your posture. Here, good posture. I should be able to just glance, ceiling. I don't have to, obviously, but the idea is I should be able to, and then my posture is correct. So what I'm going to do is take, depending on which side I want to go to, and I'm going to take a knee, and I'm going to put it through the center of his body, right in the middle of his butt, but right through the center of the body. You can always use the breastbone as a good indicator of where you are. And all I do is shift. Now it's in the center of his body, and I reposture. Now, By reposturing, I open and I blade. I turn my body. I blade. If I do the opposite side, so just going to be gentle on it. Okay. From here, I bring the knee in and I blade. He starts to pop. Because my torso gets longer just because of the distance. If I don't have the knee in, and I don't have the hips, more importantly, controlled, he will just pull himself up on my knee and close the distance. And I'll never break the guard. I'll just keep pulling him across the floor. I have to control his ability to move. Now I've got the hips controlled, I've got the knee in, and look, all I do, now this has been one big motion, and now I gently, when I go back into my base, I get longer, and his legs pop, okay? Now, as soon as his legs pop, which is what I'm looking for, again, I've got some trap and contact with my elbows. Hips, elbows, he's popped, the legs have gone down, I decide where to go. Me, I like to cut right across. That's what I like to do, cut. You just bring your leg here through here so it doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah.
And I'll cut across.
Still hurts.
Still hurts. Yes. Now I like this also for ground and pound, but we're not talking that. Because I've got this leg buried. And it does. Normally I just jam the knee straight into the leg. But in this case, I've hooked, I've got it touched to the ground. To show on the other side what I'm talking about. And here. Toes, knee, leg is trapped and buried. As I come forward, I'm forcing him to do a split. Yeah, he doesn't flip for it. Okay? But it also makes him want to drop this leg. He doesn't want to raise it. He wants to drop it. When this leg drops, beautiful. The pass comes. Full mount. High mount. Ground and pound. Boom, boom, boom. It's okay. It's okay. It's all just training. There's no problem here. It's okay. It's okay. No need to call anybody. You right there, pup?
There's some mushroom back. Yeah.
Two very solid passes. Okay? Very solid, should be worked on. Again, just one last one. And the only reason I show this one is a shout out to an old friend, Brendan Weaver, who was considerably taller than I am. And had arms like tree trunks. And he would just feel for whichever foot was on top. So in this instance, he has this one on top. And he would just take a hand and bury into the hips and into the midsection, boom here. He would just reach back, grab. I could do it with him, he's short. He would just grab and he would just rip. And he would just rip and bury. Now, that was his move. I personally don't. You might be able to pull it off. You might not. I don't personally recommend it. It worked for him. I can tell you from personal experience. I mean, he rolled me on my face with that one. Okay? But the other thing is, it has to be a move that's very practiced. Boom, wham, because if not, there is a lot of potential to get caught. Again, it was his move, it was his break. I pass it on for fun. Thank you, sir. Now, last move we're going to look at is off one of the ab exercises, which is basically like windshield wipers. Okay. We do the circles, we do windshield wipers. So, we do windshield wipers And then we have an opponent. Here, on your knees, please. And here. Trying to get my bearings. So here, he is back because he's got a better base than this and he's not leaning forward. So spread those knees so you got base. Okay. So, sit back on your heels. There you go. So again, this. Okay. And the reason I'm looking for this is I'm looking for an arm for whatever reason. Okay. Now we've gone through dumping an arm off, going for this. We've gone for the arm bar. Here he's pulled out, left this, and I've transitioned again. Okay. This is along that line. So, at this point, for whatever reason, I dumped this off, when here, sorry, and I've gone for the triangle, okay, and he's checked. For however reason, it's checked, but I still have this arm, and I'm in this position. So now I'm going to use my windshield wiper with my hips. So I still have this arm. So again, I'm trying to be gentle with my partner. Please do not tear apart my technique as I try to be nice. So from here, look, windshield wiper. I have this arm and I keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And I come up. Normally I would take this arm and keep it in the middle of my breastbone. Just rest, move his arm gently here, okay? And I trap this arm. I'm buried under the armpit. I have this arm. I contain the body. Boom, okay. As I sit up, everything hurts.
Yeah.
I don't think he believed it. But that's how it works. You get to a point you feel fine. And then all of a sudden it kicks in. Okay?
Yes.
So you can trap it, there's a ways to trap it, but here it is. Okay? So again, right there. One more just gentle. Now then we'll end our segment. So again, it becomes a point of this windshield wiper technique, but I've got rid of it, an arm. He's gone to protect himself. Just like grab your own leg. To protect. Okay? I come around.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll capture. Okay? Breastbone. Here I've got it on the hip. Buried right in. Come in tight. And that's it. Omoplata. Okay? It's one of your 3 attacks from the leg. Okay? So again, I said I would try and make it a little short and sweet. I'm going to make it a little short and sweet because, to be honest with you, I'm already sweating. I do not like the hot weather. So I would like to once again thank Matthew. I would like to thank you if you are looking into the video. Again, we looked at that hip action of just moving back and forth from arm bar to triangle to omoplata. And that is what it should be. It should be you moving back and forth. Again, hard to practice without a stationary object or body. I understand. Trying to give you things to mentally keep you looking at the game. The exercises you worked on, certainly the leg lifts, the triangle, and the hip turn. Is something that will influence and help you out on these motions at every time. So please try and keep these things active, keep your brain aware. Many of you are looking at, well, some of you may be looking at other videos and everything else. That's fine with me. You don't find, I'm not one of those those guys who's gonna say, nope, this is the only thing you should look at. There's a lot of good stuff out there. But, and hopefully with these phases and everything else, we'll get back to things soon. Please remember, when you get back, I am gonna keep us all a little bit contained, because it will be like the Roman Colosseum when we get back. Everybody will go nuts. That stands for me as well. I hope it's soon. Until then, good night. Thank you.